Welcome back to the After Dark podcast. Once again, it's me, Sterling. Chad wasn't able to necessarily be 100% into the podcast today. He's got some stuff. He's working on some stuff. He's a grinder. So I've got Big Mike here with me. Mike, how you doing, man?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. I'm as straight as 6 o'clock, so can't complain.
Hey, man, that's nothing wrong with that. That's definitely a new one. I haven't heard that one before. Um, but yeah, man. So I mean, we got a few topics definitely want to jump into. I know that there's been a few things that kind of popped up over the past few days, over the past week. I know it's been a week since we last, you know, went through some stuff here. But just to kind of give a layout here, I mean, I really want to jump right into it. You know, first things first. I mean, we had a Drake interview with Yachty, I believe, right? Like,
Yep, Lil
and
Yachty on a beach.
yeah, on the beach, like this, just chilling, just showing us how lavish their lives are. Kind of made me a little bit upset that my life isn't that great, but whatever. Um, but no, he's talking about retiring, quote unquote, right? And I mean, really, the question that we gotta ask is like, if he's thinking about retiring. I mean, granted, he's done just about everything you can do in the music industry. I mean, where does he stack up amongst the greatest and amongst just his peers as of now and even in the future? So I mean, I want to kind of kick it over to you, Mike, and see what your thoughts are on that.
First off, let me just start this by saying I don't believe Drake is retiring. Brother just signed a $500 million contract with the label. I don't think they're giving him $500 million just to sit on his ass and not do shit. So I feel like we're going to be getting some more music from Drake. It was just kind of he's in that mode where he can start thinking about those kind of things down the line. But as far as Drake and where he stacks up, God, man, I think Drake with his category and everything he's done in the game, for me, he's top five. And I mean, some people might say it's too early. Most people like to give the top five to people who withstand 20 plus years. I think Drake's about 10, 15 years in the game. But he's
Yeah.
10, 15 years running the game. And in 10, 15 years, he's already broke all the records of those 20-year rappers with
Hmm.
sales, hits. He's got more slaps than the Beatles. He's letting us know that, Drake is different. And I think he's top five. There's not many people that I would stack up with Drake, and I know we're going to get into the Billboard Top 10 a little bit later, so I won't get too far into there. But those are kind of my first thoughts on Drake at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, I agree with you, and to some pretense. I mean, like at the same time, I do have to think like you said. I mean, the guy has done anything and everything. Yes, he just signed like a massive record deal, like where I mean, if any of us could sniff, let alone 500 million, we I mean, we'd be putting out as much music as we possibly could, even if it was trash. To be honest with you, knowing you're getting paid guaranteed.
Running them
Um,
bitches up like Young Boy.
for sure, for sure. And at the same time, like we've got to think like Drake is has the influence of I mean, the greatest of all time, like of like some of the greats. Like it used to be when Jay Z hopped on a track, like you like people if they had a record. This is back when people had like CDs. They would skip if they knew that's where it was in the album. They would skip to the Jay Z song. That's how it is with Drake. Like if Drake's on your album, like they are listening to the Drake song first.
Yeah,
They do
and
not care about what you have to say.
and not to mention Drake is most people's number one hit. Like if you go to artists, if they got a number one hit, it's because they got a Drake feature. So,
Facts.
or on a versus battle, if you listen to artists, it's everyone playing their Drake feature on the versus battle. Like here's my best. It's basically what's your best Drake song. Everyone does that, and if Drake's on the song, he's most likely on your versus battle, and that's just a testament to the consistency and how many people he works with, and every single time it works over and over again. And the man is 35 years old, and he's not slowing up at the moment.
Man, and it's crazy to think he's 35, man. Like we were like back in like middle school when this guy was just Young Money YMCMB just like throwing out bedrock. Like before we really knew like that Drake was gonna be that guy. And so like you said, Mike. I mean, like when it comes down to where he stacks up, I mean, I definitely got to believe he's top five. I mean, that's like if you're talking about anywhere with it, like for anybody that's listening, you know, eh, if you're in your field and somebody says to you, you know, you're top five, I mean, like there obviously has to be stats and statistics behind it, and there's plenty. This guy has 51 Grammy nominations with five Grammys. Granted, like, look, let's be honest, like there's definitely some Grammys that he probably should have won. And maybe it was just recency bias, and we got to remember that when it comes to the Grammys. And we know, let's not get into the whole politics with the Grammys and that stuff. We don't
We
want to
know
go
how
down.
that works. Smoke and
Yeah, we don't want
mirrors.
to go. Yeah, we don't want to go down that road. But I mean, at the same time, like this guy is literally he's take. I mean, he's taken over the game. Like he put out what was it? Honestly, never mind. Right? I mean, that was a random album, June of last year, or yeah, June of last year.
Yeah.
It puts out like random as crap. But at the same time, like people are saying, "Oh, this is trash. This is trash. This is trash." At first, right? And then you hear like 2 months down the road, people are like, "Oh yeah, this is a bop. Like this is it. This is it." Then he drops a collab album with 21, and that junk is a banger, an absolute banger. I mean, and it was like the anticipation behind it. There was weeks, months in anticipation. Like there's not many artists that have that type of clout to be able to build up a massive audience to do that. And that's where, like, I mean, to your point, I mean, like you said, top five. I mean, I even put him top three. I mean, let's just be like straight cut and dry. Like, I mean, obviously results is one thing, like winning amount of Grammys, etc., so on and so forth. But I mean, he's got power, man.
I
Power and
mean, let's even take it one step further. I personally think Drake is bigger than rap. And his discography is definitely deeper than rap. He's one of the few rappers to kind of push it to the next level and go from making pop music to Hotline Bling, Passion
mm-hmm.
Fruit. Like you said, honestly, Nevermind album was a dance album. Like he's pushing the boundaries of what we expect from rap artists. If you hear the rap songs now, like these rappers aren't even really rappers; they're all like melodic rappers, and they're singing, and that's a testament to Drake because Drake was the first person out here, and we were shitting on him back in the day. Like look at his
Little
soft
soft.
ass little yeah.
Yeah.
And now like he was swooping in, he got all the women, so the women's bumping it, so we have to pay attention. We paying attention to it, and we out here singing. And now the hardest thugs in the game right now, they're out here singing. Look at Polo G. Look
Mm-hmm.
at people like Lil TJ, Young Thug. All these people, they have a lot of singing incorporated to their rapping. And Drake pushed the boundary. He made that cool. He made that acceptable. He even made that something that you had to consider as part of your arsenal if you really wanted to take it to the next level. So Drake is top five rapper all time for me, and he's probably a top 10 artist of all time too. Like you know he's
Even when
probably
it
a
comes
top
down
10.
to it.
Yeah, in terms of accolades and accomplishments and just overall career as an artist, there's not many better than Drake. So he might be top 10 artists of all time, which is kind of nuts to think about when you really peel back the layers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and really, like, it's kind of hard because, like, I want to. I mean, I could go on and on legitimately about it, right? But without going like with too long about it, like, I mean, final thoughts for me personally, like this guy, one, I mean, for anybody that's around our age, 25, 26, it like is between the ages of like 22 and 30, really. Like you were at the age where you understood what was going on. Like you saw the type of influence like that he was building up to, and then now he's has become. And for me, like, if you went to your parents, like some of our parents are 50s, 60s. I mean, some people, and dude, my dad listens to Drake, bro. Like, if my dad is knowing Drake songs, let me tell you something. That means a lot. If my mom is singing Drake songs, that means a lot. This woman is 60 plus years old and she's singing Drake songs. Like that is pure influence. Like
Pure
it doesn't make any sense for us to like if anybody tries to put him down, you're crazy. Like I'd love to talk about all the things he did poorly, but like when he does something poorly, like back to the same thing like I said earlier with honestly never mind, because I was one of those people where it's like, oh my gosh, this is kind of oof. Like I liked it, but I wasn't like, ooh, that's a Drake album. Like I was like, oh, that's mediocre. Like, but then down the road, I'm like, geez, this is actually kind of like this is a banger. So I mean, putting it into perspective for me, like you said, I mean, definitely top five for me, top three rapper. And that we'll definitely talk about that more in a few minutes. But like, why why retire when you're at your peak? That's the question you have to ask him. Why retire when you're still at your peak? He doesn't have to drop music. He could not drop music for a year and people would still be banging Drake every single day on their way to the office, on their way back to the office, on their
But
way at a
here's the
party, whatever it
here's the
is.
biggest criticism that you got to remember that is a valid one on Drake's career and could be a reason why he's thinking about retirement. One, what is there left for him to accomplish in the rap game? I would argue that he could still give us a rap album that's just 10 tracks, cohesive, him spitting to the best of his ability. Because I don't think he's just giving us a whole album where he's just trying to murder and take people's heads off the whole time. I feel like he can still give us that, but honestly, there's really nothing for him to try and accomplish in the rap game. But as far as all the other greats, when you think about the people that I hold high in regards, is people like Jay Z, who found Kanye, Rihanna, his mentor Lil Wayne found Drake, the guy that we're speaking of now, Nicki Minaj.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye from Drake, he found Big Sean. So there is a lane for Drake outside of just making music that he still can tackle for his legacy purpose, and that's finding the next generation. And Drake's really good at spotting talent and hopping on the tracks, making it hot, making those talents hot. But now I think it'd be a good lane for him to try and spot that talent, sign it, and make them one of the biggest artists in the game, which I definitely think he can do. But as far as where Drake stacks up, I'm right there with you. I think he's one of the tops. I think he's one of the Mount Rushmore. So not too much disagreement on that. But we might have some things that we can disagree on because the Billboard Top 10 rap list came out and people were up in arms. And there's some questionable stuff up there for me. I'll go ahead and spit it out so everyone knows what the top 10 is. We got number one coming in at Jay Z. We got number two at Kendrick. Number three with Nas. Number four, Tupac. Number five, Eminem. Number six, Notorious B.I.G. Number seven, we got Wayne. Weezy F Baby. And don't forget the baby. Please say the motherfucking baby. We got Drake at 8. Snoop Dogg at 9. And number 10, we got Nicki Minaj. So, let's unpack it. I don't know where your head's at. I don't know where you got people at. So this is going to be interesting to see as we try to maneuver through this list. What are your first thoughts? What stood out to you?
Oh man, and I hate to be this guy, man. I really, really do. Um, I don't think Nicki deserves a top 10. And it might be a hard take. It might be a super hot take for any women that like obviously like obviously I respect the absolute hell out of Nicki Minaj and what she's done for the female rappers in the game. Um, but let's really think about it. That's one. For me, second, having Drake at number 8, we just made a statement. There's no way this guy is below top 5. Just made a statement. There's no way possible this guy's not top 5. And then Lil Wayne, man, that's like a kick in the ass, man. Really. I mean, really, it's a kick in the ass. And then let's be honest. Like, I love Eminem. I love Marshall Mathers, Mister the Man, the only white guy. Let's just, not to bring race into it, but the only white guy in his top 10. Um, I mean, he's not top 5. He has some of the best bars anybody's ever going to hear. Just flat out. There's nobody. Not there's very few people out there that can go bar for bar with Eminem. That's a fact.
Well, let's let me
And
get
he would
your
destroy
let me
this.
get your top five then. What would you put as a top five?
Okay, so my top five. I got Jay Z, number one. Number two, and this might be a bit rash and moving too quickly. Number two, I got Wayne. Number three, I got Drake. Like I said, he's my top three for sure. Number four, got Pac. Number five, I got Biggie. And like that's just how it's got to be for me. I don't think there's any. I don't. There shouldn't be a debate about it, but obviously, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. I mean, let
Oh,
me get your
we're
take.
finna debate for sure. There's gonna be a debate about it. No worries. Because this is the show where we debate about shit that's none of our business. But you're gonna have your opinions anyways. So
Yeah,
just to go off your first point, your what stood out to you at first with Nicki Minaj in the top 10. In what world does Nicki Minaj land on the top 10 and there's no Kanye?
that's what I'm saying. Like,
And I know Kanye's number 11, but like Kanye's not number 10.
it's
And
recency bias, bro.
it's recency bias. Kanye is PR stunts on Kanye's on his side by not he's not really helping his case with some of the stuff he's saying out there. And according to Kanye, certain people run the media, so maybe he would say he's being blackballed. But I just don't understand how Kanye's not in the top 10. Love Nicki, and I get that you could champion Nicki because she's the GOAT of all female rappers, and I do think that that should lift you up higher in the list of being a GOAT of your sex or gender, your preferred sex or gender. Um, but for starters, let me get into what I really want to get into because I think Lil Wayne, yeah, Chad, Lil Wayne is the GOAT of all rappers. GOAT of all rappers right now.
Oh, are you just recording this?
Yeah. Lil Wayne is the goat of all rappers, and Jay Z. I feel like we put too much emphasis on Jay Z and what he's done outside of his career. And when I say that, I want to pause because I don't want to make it seem like Jay Z is not Jay Z. He's been in this game for 30 plus years, maybe more. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number, but he's been, the one of the main guys, and people look at him as the main guy for 30 plus years. But one thing that we gotta realize with Drake or with Jay Z is that he's never had a run where he was the undisputed best, hottest, biggest rapper in the game. Now, Jay Z was also always known as one of the best spitters. He owned Rockefeller. He was big money. He was all that. But he's never had a Lil Wayne Drake run. Uh, Lil Wayne's been rapping since 1997. That's when we were born. There has not been a year that Wayne has not been a at least gold selling artist since we've been alive. And we're gonna just blow that up. We're just gonna blow past that and put him at 7? At 7. That just blows my mind. For almost a decade, he was undisputed the best rapper on the planet and dropping music left and right, whether it was mixtapes, legendary albums with the Carter series, or even spin-off albums, I'm Not a Human Being, those series. Everything was just fire, fire, fire. And I just think that, we got to put more credence to that. Your favorite rapper is Lil Wayne. Ask any of them, they all say Wayne. Wayne's the reason why I'm rapping. Wayne's my inspiration. All these kids out here, all these rappers, they Wayne babies. Wayne babies. Wayne is out here putting the bun in the oven and creating all these little bitty rappers that are out here. Let's put some respect on his name. He's number one.
So I mean, look, it's tough because like deep down I want to put Wayne at number one, right? Because I wasn't alive for all of Jay Z, like all of the Jay Z reign, like and him come like the full come up. Wasn't old enough to understand his come up, right? With Wayne, I was to a certain degree, right? Um, and I like I hear where you're coming from. Like I understand it. And obviously, like if y'all don't know, Mike is the biggest Lil Wayne stan of all time.
Like
It
I
is
said, Wheezy F baby, and please say the baby. Please
Yes, this guy is one of the biggest states, and I think that can have a play into it. But at the same time, yes, there are charts. There's statistics to back up Wayne because Wayne has been a part of the game for so long since we've been alive, and he's been successful at it, been undisputed for a bit. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, like if we're talking about Jay Z, like I mean, if we just read the article, right? Just like the little snippet they put of Jay Z, right? One, I mean, let's like, and I know you spoke to the fact of him outside of music, right? Like him becoming a billionaire and those types of things. Those are the things that like they definitely elevated him on this list 100%. Like they definitely elevated him. If he's not a billionaire, he's probably not number one. I'm gonna be honest. But this guy has 14 Billboard 200 number one albums. That is the most among solo acts. I'm reading verbatim off of Billboard. Verbatim. 140 million records sold. He's the co-founder of Rockefeller Records. Has collected 24 Grammys. I mean, like I've talked about before. There's a formula when it comes to greats. It's just like if we talk about LeBron and MJ, and we can have that discussion a whole nother day, right? But there's results. There's the view that people have of you, right? Like there's the view of the outside world because you need results are driven by that view, right? And then you've got flat out influence, flat out. And like you said, I mean, I agree with you. Like these guys are coming up, yeah, they're like, oh, Wayne, 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 because they're all our age, bro. All of them. I mean, and that's a whole nother testament. Like guys that were coming up that may not have became the greatest rappers in the world, the most successful because pop culture and social media weren't that big of a thing. Because nowadays it is easier to become famous. We've talked about this before. But if you think about Jay Z, Jay Z is literally the pinnacle of what you want to be as not only an artist but as a rapper and as an influencer and as an effect to the game. I'm not pooping on Wayne. I'm not taking no shots at him because I put him at number two. I put him right behind Jay Z. These two are the most influential guys that have ever been in the game. Period. But like, let's put a little bit more respect on his name at the same time. Like Wayne, yes, he's one of the greatest of all time, but we're talking about Jay Z. We're talking about Jay Z, bro. Like I just don't. I get it because you got the stand, you got the love for him. I get that, man. But like, let's just back it up for a second. And really think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about greatest rappers all the time. This guy could spit just like Wayne could spit. That's there. There is a differentiator in the way they spit. Yes, but at the end of the day, like we know Jay Z's number one. Like we could like I mean we take a poll. If people really knew music, people that actually knew music, they put Jay Z at first,
We
just out of
don't know that.
respect.
So let's also take it further back. Wayne is also in that very small category of kid artists to go on and become iconic, legendary artists and maintain high status. Those are very. We got Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was running up numbers as a kid, high status. We got Justin Bieber running up numbers as a kid. He's still out here high status. We got Miley Cyrus running numbers as a kid, still out here relevant high status. Wayne's in that. He was 13 years old when he started. He was 13 and he wasn't a nobody. Him and Birdman were out there. He was in the crew and he was running stuff at 13. He's a child superstar that's still around. I don't know if you heard his latest song, Can't Nobody, with the DMX sample. All I need is a beat with a DMX sample. That's all Wayne needs, and he's about to spit super hot fire on this shit. Where's Jay Z at? Don't even tell me Jay Z's God's Plan. I don't want to hear you hype up that God's Plan verse like it was the best thing ever.
God,
We all
God
tell
did.
ourselves.
God did. Come on, man.
We
That
all
verse was
tell
it was
ourselves it's the
stupid
best verse
long.
ever, and we know damn well we rather listen to motherfucking Lil Baby verse over that verse. Like, what are we kidding? Like, no. And I get it. And I get it. Jay Z, he's the billionaire. He found Kanye. He found Rihanna. Well, first of all, he didn't find Kanye. When he found Kanye, he wanted to keep him as a producer, like Kanye said in his doc on Netflix. It was Dame Dash that gave him the green light and said, "Here, make this album." That's what blew Kanye up. And once Kanye's album was highly regarded as one of the best out there, Jay-Z saw the potential of adding them onto songs, and thus that relationship flourished and that career flourished. Now I'm gonna give him the credit to Rihanna. That's a crazy find, and he found Rihanna at a young age too. So that's a crazy find. But Wayne found Drake, the guy we just got finished talking about for the past 10 minutes about why he's so great. Wayne found Nicki, the greatest female rapper to ever walk the planet. And Wayne found these people, championed them, and pushed them on while he was still out here killing records. He was as hot as he's ever been. Hot as he ever. Carter 3 album did 1 million first week. People are out here happy about doing 100,000 first week. Wayne did 1 million hard copies first week. People had to get their ass out of the house, hop in the car, put the little $5 in gas because they didn't want to fill up the tank all the way, drive to their local convenience store or Walmart, pick up Carter 3 album, pay for it, drive back home and play it in a CD player. It was different times. Wayne's out there killing it. I get the Jay-Z thing. I don't want to sound like I'm not appreciative of the forefathers. I know Jay-Z filled in the place for Biggie once Biggie died, and we didn't know if there was going to be that figurehead, and he filled it in, and he did more than what was asked of him. But I just think Wayne is out here. He's hotter. I think he did. I don't think he did more from a foundational standpoint, but from a music rap standpoint, I think Wayne did better, and I think that as time goes by, he'll continue to show that even at an old age, he's still spitting with the best of them.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, Mike, we know like we're gonna have to agree to disagree at one of these things, right? Like I don't want I respect the absolute hell out of Lil Wayne. Weezy F baby, don't forget the baby, right? Like I respect the absolute hell out of Wayne. But let's back it up now too to the point is the fact that they put Kendrick at number two,
I wanted to get to
and
that.
no, like so like I mean I'm gonna move to, I'm a bump to that because like I know like you and I are gonna disagree on that. Like we're just gonna disagree like one who's a one. It's just like people disagree about LeBron and some people disagree about LeBron and MJ, which is just absolutely absurd to me. But whatever, right? Let's talk about the fact they put this man Kendrick K Dot at number two. Dude, I love K Dot, bro. Like he's fucking a genius when it comes to a lot of the music he does, right? I mean, he's played with different sounds. He brings up other artists here and there. He understands how he flows on songs and understands how to make other people shine on songs and put them in the place where they need that's gonna build bring them the most light. But let's be honest, bro. Like I mean, and like I said, I just put Wayne at my two, right? Like how we gonna put how are we gonna put Kendrick Lamar over Lil Wayne? And I think the media itself, and I'm not gonna go on this rant about like ghost media and all this other blackball. No. It's the media itself is based on recency, and we understand we're gonna use recency bias that phrase a lot based on just what's going on. Like just because Wayne doesn't drop album after album after album like he used to, doesn't mean he shouldn't be at number two, right? It doesn't. And Kendrick has the most has more recent tracks. Not saying just in terms of recency, but just more recent tracks. I understand why they put him up there because he's extremely talented. He's got all that, you know, touch you need. But number two is a little aggressive, man. And then put him above Drake, like, phew, we're talking crazy. So like his rightful place to me should be at like probably like nine, maybe. If I'm really putting like a number on it, I'd have to rework it and double down on it a bit, but I'd probably put him at about 9, maybe 10, debatable.
So listen, the guy that was going to champion for Kendrick Lamar being at number two is not here tonight, folks. Our co-host Chad is not here tonight. It's just me and Sterling. And let me go ahead and tell you right now, Kendrick Lamar is not number two. And as I'm saying that, I really hope that there's people out there listening pissed off saying, how the hell is Kendrick Lamar not number two? Because I'm about to tell you how the hell he's not number two. Kendrick Lamar, and let me start off by giving him his flowers because I think Kendrick Lamar is the second best active rapper at the moment, second hottest active rapper at the moment in today's game. I think that Kendrick Lamar, from an album standpoint, has not missed. Literally has not missed. And he's a Grammy darling every time he comes, even though he got snubbed by Macklemore. That's a topic for another day. That's a topic for another day. Kendrick just has not done it long enough. To put him above the other names that are in the top 10 is so disrespectful to the long period that these other people have been running the game. Running the game. Kendrick Lamar was still figuring out the game when Jay-Z, Lil Wayne were out here running up numbers. When Kanye was out here running up numbers. And my biggest thing when we really start thinking about who are the greatest rappers, we like to throw in a bunch of accolades. We like to talk about this and that and this. No. Just look around. Because what people emulate is what the greatest rapper is what the hottest person is. And there's no one out here trying to be Kendrick. Now, I'll also say that it's hard to just be a Kendrick. Not everyone can be a Kendrick. But there's no one out. He's not influencing the rap game. He didn't change the game and make people want to be like him. Not like Wayne did. Wayne birthed a new era of music. Kanye with the 808s album birthed a new sound of rap and a new channel and pathway to succeed in the rap game. Drake birthed melodic rap and all that, you know. And when we start talking about the greats, Nicki Minaj, don't get me started on the rise of female rappers and her spot and her what she did to make that happen. Kendrick has not done that. And most of it could be he hasn't been around long enough. Let's sit back and wait. Where I would put Kendrick at, I'd probably put him in the top 10 around that 9. I would probably take Snoop Dogg out of the top 10. I think he's got one solid album. He's probably the most famous rapper of all time. But we're just talking about rap. If we want to say top 10 celebrity rappers, that's a different discussion. But we're just talking about rap. Doggy Style, although it's one of the most iconic rap albums of all time, one of them is just not good enough. It's just not good enough when you start stacking them up with the other names. But Kendrick, getting back to the point, Kendrick Lamar, he's not number 2. He's not top 5. You know, he's at 9. But I will say he has every lane there is, he has every chance possible to get to that number 2 spot. He could get to the GOAT spot. But let me tell you, if you want to get to that number 2 GOAT spot, Kendrick, you got to stop taking 5 years to drop music. I have to remember, who's that Kendrick Lamar guy? Every time he drops music, who's that again? Like, oh yeah, let me check his music out. Let me refresh my memory and make sure he was hot. Like, I can't remember. Was he hot? Because he takes 5 years to drop music. Bro, what you be doing, dog? You be coming out, you looking like you from a whole nother country in Nigeria. What you be doing, dog? I know you just be chilling. You ain't out here in the clubs like Lil Wayne and Drake. So what you be doing? Write music, bro. Put out some more music. That's all I'm saying. He ain't number 2.
Hey man, I agree with you. There's some things we obviously disagree, but I definitely agree with you on that point. That take that's funny, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a funny take. Um, let's kind of roll down. We got like, look, let's be honest, man. We got Nas in this at number 3. Bro.
Don't do it. You're gonna upset the old heads.
Oh my god. Look, hey, shout out any old heads that listen to this, man. Appreciate y'all support and everything, but I'm gonna tell you, he ain't number 3. Don't ever try to put him anywhere near the top 5, anywhere near the top 10. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm like, let's talk about this. We talk about longevity, right? Longevity is an important thing when it comes to being a GOAT, right? Like, and I'm always gonna make the sports analogy. And for any ladies that are listening to this, like, and if you aren't familiar with sports, and any guys that aren't familiar with it, let's talk about it like this. The LeBron and MJ argument is based now off of longevity. Let's stop putting longevity as the number one thing, but it's important. It is important. Nas hops on a track every once in a while. I mean, he just dropped King's Disease what 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I mean, then he dropped King's Disease too. I like look, dog. The album's okay. Like it's okay. I can listen to it. I can vibe to it. I'm not out here like, hey man, like you listen to that track by Nas, you know? Like when I hear a Drake song, when I hear a Wayne song, when I hear a Jay Z song, when Jay Z, when these people are on tracks, like I'm like, yo, did you see that? They're like, hell yes, I saw it. I heard that. I was listening to it on repeat in the car. I'm not listening to his shit on repeat. Not. I'm not doing it. And I respect Nas. I respect what he's done for the game. I respect his connection he's got to the game. Right? Like, dog's been rapping since before I was alive. At the end of the day, like I can't shit on him that bad. But like if you're gonna talk to me and say Nas number three, Billboard, who was drunk at the station? Who was there? Who was writing this article? Because I need to go have a personal conversation with them because they were off some good meds, some good stuff. Because I don't it don't make sense to me. And I know you're gonna have your thoughts, and I think you probably somewhat agree with me on that. But like I'll let you kind of have your piece, but I just want to make the point, like, why are we out here faded as all hell talking about Nas at number three? Like it is just unfathomable. It is like putting a child on the NBA court and say, hey, he can play. Like he can't
Whoa,
play.
whoa,
No,
you hating now? You hating?
yeah. Let me back up, Mike. I want to get your take. I want to get your take.
So we might age ourselves just a tad bit with this with this take, but I tend to agree. As far as lyrical ability, and what gets Nas to the top is the way his impact in the beginning was just so crucial to the development of the rap game to what it is today. And I understand that. I feel like old heads, they feel like that we don't understand that and we don't get it. And we do get it. And we know that it was harder to pave the way. But look, you made a pavement, and now Lil Wayne, Drake, Jay Z, Kendrick Lamar are driving in Lambos on that pavement all the way to their mansion in Beverly Hills. So thanks for putting down the road, brother, but we driving on it. And that's the way I see it. Nas has got to get out of here. As far as lyrical ability, it's impressive. And what's also impressive is that he's out here winning Grammys and he's old as hell. And he came
Hmm.
from out of nowhere. I thought Nas was just completely retired and you weren't getting no more music from him. He came out of nowhere and he started winning Grammys. That shit he did with Kanye though was trash. Probably mostly because Kanye just threw some shit together, but that shit was trash. Let's be honest. So if you got an album with Kanye and it's trash, you ain't top three, brother. You ain't top
Nah,
three. How
nah,
does
man.
that even work? Kanye's out here dropping Scoopity Whoop Poop and hitting the charts, and my dog can't put out a good collab album with Kanye as your producer. Nah, man, you ain't top three. I'm sorry, old heads. No one's coming in here and say, put on that Nas. We bumping that Nas. If I put Nas on and all the girls in here, they looking at me like, hey, can you play this song? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. What was I thinking? Let me put that song on for you, little
I
mama.
didn't mean to hurt you like that. Nah, man. I just looked up something quick, right? And I don't mean to hate on Nas any more than I already did because I did disrespect him a little bit. I want to definitely apologize a bit. But I just looked up something, right?
Nah, stand on it,
Billboard
brother.
Now, Billboard the headquarters is in New York, and if you don't know, weed was legalized at a recreational level with the. We know how that works in New York, and they got some good Kush up there. That's what I hear, right? That's what I hear. That's what they were on because Nas is the type of music, bro. Like he's got that type of music where if you are smoking Kush, like you could dead ass, like you could vibe like super hard to his stuff, like super hard. And I get it. I mean, they got offices out there in L.A. and then we got Miami, and Miami got all the other stuff. But I mean, let's be honest, man. Like Nas, you are one of the most influential guys that's been in the game. Definitely, like Mike said, you paved the way for a lot of these guys to be at the top, 100,000%. And I will put respect on your name for that. And give you your flowers. Well, before you are getting old, so might as well give them to you now. But look, man, don't try to stand on that because if you try to, if I don't want to ever, if you in an argument with somebody, like, I'm top three. That's what Billboard said. All right, all right, bro. But like, let me hop off that train because I feel like I was digging at him. I was waiting for that one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was waiting for that one. Um,
Yo, let's speak
they
speak about a rapper that's not going to be on the top 100 anywhere.
well, I mean, Travis Scott isn't on the top 100, and he's considered a rapper producer. He ain't anywhere on this thing. You can control find it if y'all don't believe me. Um, but I mean, if I look through it, like top 100, I mean, 50's in here at 17, right? Like 50 obviously needs to be in the top 20, 25, like 100%. Like there's no debate about Cube, right? Um, Missy. I mean, like they got like some good stuff in here. Like it makes sense. Like they put Rakim at 13. Don't know about that one. Um, uh, just don't know. DMX at 21. I think he could be a little bit higher than that personally. Um, but like I mean, the overall, when I looked at the whole list, right, I took some time to look at the whole list, and it takes a bit. So for y'all that are listening and hear this back, like take some time, listen to it, or look at it. And if you don't know the artist, go and listen to some of their songs. Like really think about it introspectively. Like how does it affect me? Because some of these guys that are older, their music was meant to like genuinely influence people's thoughts. Nowadays, it's just I'm making music and make bread, right? Let's just be honest. Um, so like take some time to listen to it, listen to their music, and look at it and research these guys and gals. Um, but I mean, who was it in here? Like I don't think I put anybody in here that wasn't supposed to be in here. KRS One. I had to do some research on him to be honest with you. Q-Tip. I mean, I want to kind of get back it up on you again. Not back it up, Jesus. Uh,
Pause, bro.
uh,
Pause.
throw it back to you a bit because like we've kind of went through the top like what we think is our well we went through what I think my top five is. We kind of went through our top three, which I think is the most important because nobody cares about anything after third place. Like you ain't getting a medal. Like you're not on the podium. Um, like you got obviously the notorious Big and Tupac at 5 and 6. Not respectively. Actually, Tupac at 5 and Big at 6. So I want to say something because I don't I never will speak ill about the dead, right? Like just straight up, I just won't. Um, but like obviously, I mean, Big lost too soon, right? Way too soon, way too soon. Pac same, right? They both had that type of music back in the day, that rap that was supposed to have make you feel a certain way. That's what it was all about. It was all about you feeling that passion, feeling what they're feeling because you can relate. It was relatable music for some people that were coming out the gutter, some people that were going through tough times, people that were just living in the world. Like Pac made a lot of music like that, just talking about the world and why we need to have peace and this, that, and the other, why he believes in that. And that's, I mean, I would always put Pac over Biggie, just in my opinion. But, and this is not to speak ill of the dead at all, they are in the top 10. They're not 5 and 6. Just flat out. And let's just speak to the same ongoing trend is longevity. And unfortunately, they had no control over the fact that they were going to get their lives taken too soon. But we were talking about Pop Smoke before he died. This guy was on his come up like crazy. He was going crazy, crazy, man. Another New York rapper, bro. Like it's insane how that happens. But like this guy was gonna be one of the greatest. He's not gonna. I wouldn't say he would have been a top 10, but we don't know. So like I want to get your thoughts on like where you would put Pac and Biggie. Because when we talk about rap, we gotta talk about Pac and Biggie. So I want to see where you're at on that, Mike.
So Pac and Biggie are. Contrary to what I've been saying and the criteria that I've been going off of for this whole pod, they're in my top five. Um, and I think that there are people that supersede the rules that I had in place just because those albums that they did put out when they were alive are just as impactful today as they were when they dropped. When you hear that California love, that still hits the same way I'm sure it did back in the day. When you put on Biggie, his flow, and something about them just felt like they were so ahead of their time compared to the other people out when they were out. And I feel like that proved itself to be correct because if you play their music now, it really doesn't sound outdated. Like maybe sure what they're talking about sounds outdated. Maybe some of the drums and the beat might sound outdated, but their flow, their lyrical ability, the melodies that they're choosing, the topics, their ability to hit home, Dear Mama with Tupac, how that hits every time you hear that song, you know, I just feel like what they were able to show and the amount of hits that they were able to give us in such a little time frame is insane. Now, I will agree with you that there is a thing that helps them from dying early. And I want to preface that by saying, obviously it's not a good thing that they passed away early. But especially when it comes to the rap game, the legacy that comes with dying early and more specifically dying in the middle of your prime when you're one of the hottest rappers out, it just elevates your status so high because we can only imagine what would have come. But they didn't have to go through the changes in the music game, the change in sound, the change in flow, the change in beats. They didn't have to see a bunch of new cats coming in with the hot new flow and everybody wanted to go over and see this new shiny object. How do you recapture that market share of the fan base? They didn't have to do any of that. But I think with the sample size that we got and the timing in which their careers took place, because I do feel like they are the forefathers. I think Biggie and Tupac are the two people that, to me, they kind of wrote the constitution of rap. And they kind of wrote the constitution of rap and how we think of it today and how a rap artist moves around and how they're flashy. Biggie and P Diddy, they came together and they made flashy rap. They had the shiny chains, the white suits, the girls coming around and made it cool and fly. Like, hey, this rap shit doesn't always have to be grimy and so depressing. It could be cool and fly and fun and for everybody. So I think that they're just so important to how we think about rap today that they're in my top five. Yeah, I think they're in my top five.
So without like once again, um, speaking ill of the dead, right? And I wanted to correct myself. Pac is at 4, Biggie's at 6. They got Eminem at 5. Um, I mean, I hear where you're like, and then once again, I'm always gonna say this because I do. I hear where you're coming from. I understand it, right? Like the power that someone has, like to affect a generation, which is what like we, which is one of the biggest things that I look at when it comes to calling a goat or better rapper, like the criteria it takes and his influence. And I mean, and it sucks that we lost them so early because, like you said, you can only imagine what they would have done. But at the same time, to your point, like, would they have been able to adapt to those flows? Like, would they be able to maintain the same flow they were doing and stay relevant as they were, right? Like a guy like Wayne, like a guy like Drake who could change up his sound and still be successful. Like a guy like Jay Z who stays on pretty much the same flows, could jump off of different flows, but still can jump a bit, right? That is one of the one of the two or three reasons I wouldn't put him in my top five, and I'd put him right below 6, 7, right there. Boom, boom. Always put Pac ahead of Biggie, um, and that's just how it would go. But I mean, man, it's hard to say because like I really do like if I there are times when I've listened to their music when you just don't want to hear this raunchy rap sometimes, and it just feels good. They got that good music, man, just good, feel good, like not even necessarily feel good all the time, but it's like, hey, man, I feel that. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So like, it's tough because I don't want to feel like I'm disrespecting because I don't think I am. Because I think what I'm saying is logical and it makes sense. But I understand why you have them where you have them if you were to make that top five list, right? Um, but yeah, man, it's tough. Like these guys, like my family would think of Pac before they think of Biggie, but like Biggie still is a part of that realm. Like I said, we can't talk about rap if we don't talk about Biggie or Tupac. Like you said, if we're talking about flashiness and all that stuff that comes with P Diddy coming around, him and Biggie rolling that out, Pac with the bandana, the headband, the bandana, that whole stick, right? Like that became like it was already like because he was from a rougher upbringing, but that was part of like kind of who he was. But it made it like super popular. Everybody wanted to be like that and look like that and have that style. That's another thing that's part of influence. Everybody in my top 10, if I listed it, if I like really compiled it, put it together, and made sense, every one of my guys and gals that's in or guys in that is gonna have influence in some capacity, whether it's style, whether it's in media, whether it's in the actual game, whether it's in the in on other people and other artists that come up. That's just how it's gonna be.
Word.
So I mean, I disagree, but I respectfully disagree. And I wanted to roll into number five. They listed Eminem at number five, and I think we hit on it a little bit. Um, man, Marshall Mathers. I love Eminem, man. I really do. I love the way he can just spit in your face. He could disrespect. No, he could disrespectfully rap you, like, and wrap you up and put you in a package and send you off at UPS, bro. Like that is how good he is at rapping. He is lyrically gifted. He's one of the very few, not very few rappers that is just lyrically gifted. Where you get him in a battle, he is not losing to really just about anybody. There's very few people that could take him in a versus battle, just dead like without even like just straight bars. None of the stuff that they put out before, because everybody knows in those battles they're bringing out stuff they've already written most of the time. Like they always got stuff written out they just never produced and put out there. Um, but I mean, I just can't put them in the top five when you got guys like Biggie and Tupac outside of the top five for me personally, right? Um, and then you talk about overall influence. Mr. Marshall, Mr. Mathers wasn't able to affect the game as much as these guys that I would put in front of him. Solely. Not about longevity at all. Solely just could not do the same for the game itself and the people around him. And I think that puts him down. Like I think once again he's still in my top 10, but he's not number fucking five. He's not. And I respect the hell out of Marshall. And if you ever hear this, man, big ups. Feature me on a song, man. You can use my clips or something. Uh, but yeah, I wanted to see where your thoughts would lie on that because I thought that was a huge, just like a really big accusation for Billboard. Like I said, they were smoking some good Kush, but it wasn't that great.
That good.
They were on some good Kush for sure.
So I get it. I get Eminem has all of the numbers, like all of the numbers. It's Eminem and Drake really running numbers. Eminem and Drake and Jay Z, as far as just numbers go, are running it. And Eminem made rap global. He's the first artist to make rap global. But let's call a spade a spade. Eminem brought in the white fan base. And when it comes to rap, it's not necessarily about all the numbers and about the white fan base, but it's more so about how you affect the culture of the hip hop game. And if we're being honest, Eminem does not affect culture in the hip hop game over long periods of time. No one's really. And let me start by saying Eminem was the first rap CD that I've ever owned, and I love that CD. The Eminem Show was amazing. My mom didn't want me listening to it. She didn't understand why I liked cleaning out my closet so much. She was like, "Do you hate me?" I was like, "No, I don't hate you, mom. The song's just a pop, yo. It's a pop." But but Eminem, he's just the impact that he has. Like we have to go back to impact, and there is something to say about impacting, the white community as well, and putting rap in a global sector. But I just think as far as impacting the way people dress, the culture, the way people rap, when you hop in a car, no one's going back to Eminem music like that. I go back to
Listen on
Wayne stuff.
forever.
Yeah, I go back to Wayne stuff. I go back to Drake stuff. You know, people that look like me and you aren't going back to Eminem stuff. And
Nah, nah.
no matter what you say, people that look like me and you kind of dictate this rap thing a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
hundred
one of
percent.
the few things that we have to us. We kind of dictate this rap thing, and we understand that he's a top 10 rapper. We understand he's one of the best out there. And as far as his name goes, we know where Eminem, what that name does, and how it rings around the globe. But as far as a top 10 rapper, I or top 5 rapper, I don't see it. You know, um, but it's a cool story. But I think that we've kind of, I don't know if you have any closing remarks. I think we've kind of hit this Billboard thing pretty hard. I kind of want to talk about a
Yeah.
rapper that I know damn well ain't on that list, and that's Iggy Azalea, and how she's on OnlyFans. And, we kind of had a few discussions about this just in our own, our passing with Chad. But I kind of want to get your opinion on. It seems like everybody's going to OnlyFans, and there's a kind of a female adult economy building that we kind of have to deal with, and it's really out there, and there's people in our lives we can touch them, and they're on OnlyFans. You know, is this a good thing? How could this affect how we're moving around in today's day and age?
Yeah, man. So we did talk a little bit personally between you, Chad, and I, and I've had these conversations, with some of my other friends as well, girls and guys. So it's not like it's just like the male perspective, but mm, like it's one of those things where you got to take a step back, Like, look, I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. Like I respect people getting their money. I respect it. You get it how you live. Drug dealers, I like these guys. Like if you're selling Kush, that's one thing, right? I don't mess with you selling the other stuff, right? Personally, like, but you get it how you live, right? If you gonna live like that, if that's how you're getting it. If you're getting your bread from OnlyFans, because she damn well ain't making no good rap songs. Um, I'm sorry. I saw you hopping on. I saw her hopping on Jalen Brunson. I'm like, she probably needs some bread to fund some fees you need to take for this OnlyFans stuff. But um, like as far as the female economy that they're building through this very sexualized website, like, and I'm not saying because there's people up there that do not, there are not posting sexualized stuff, quote unquote. They are posting just content, exclusive content for their subscribers, the stuff that they can't see just anywhere online. Granted, you could go on Reddit and probably find all of it. Just FYI for my guys and girls. Um, but like for me, like I think that like it's a good and a bad thing, Like I think it's awesome that women have this independence now, where like they feel like their bodies are like, like you should be proud of your body, Like regardless of how big, small, thin, thick, whatever you
It's an
are,
asset.
like yeah, like you should definitely be proud of that. But she has a child, and as a parent, like she's making a decision. I don't know if it is her decision to go up there because she wants more money for her kid and she wants to give him the future that he wants and all this, that, and the other. I don't believe that if she did say it, to be honest. I think it'd be done for a bit of selfish reasons, especially her in general. Like her has already reached celebrity status. Like she can be like when TNT goes on the court, we know how they are. Like they go on the court and they like start flashing artists and famous people on the side after that LA game or New York Knicks game. Like, oh, we know Iggy Azalea. Like she's that white rapper, the white woman rapper who's like kind of trash. Like we know this. So for her to just hop on that, like other women, sure, go ahead. But like I want to let you ladies know, like I'm not anybody to judge, like to judge you like aggressively about that at all. But it is gonna start changing the way that men look at you a bit more, and it is. It's just an honest God's truth, and it's not your fault. It's just the way that we always see women, and it starts to change. We gotta adapt, and for me, it makes me a bit uncomfortable. But I'm also at the same time, like I said, I am happy for them that they feel that comfortable to be able to do something like that. Anybody, not just Iggy, but any artist, any person that's going to man, male or female, going out there and doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to kind of holler at that and bounce it back off of you and see uh, what your thoughts on it because we have talked privately about it and just see if you air out some a few of your thoughts.
Yeah, so let me start off by saying that I'm someone that believes get your money how you can get it. So I think it's fire. I've always been someone who champions, OnlyFans is coming up and these girls are making real bank. That's real money coming in. That's bank. I think that's fire. Some people were mad about how much money these TikTok stars are making, but they're making real bank as well. I think all that's fire. Get your money if it's out there. You can get it, grab it, and hold on to it. That's how I see on that front. But I do think that we don't really know how this is going to affect just overall society and how people move in the long run. Because right now, you know, the people that are on OnlyFans are young and they're doing this now. They're making all this money. Well, one thing we don't know is, how is this going to affect as you get older? That stuff doesn't go away. And although it can give you a head start, stuff like that will never just go away out of itself. You're always going to have that. People are going to have access to your pictures, have access to your videos. Reddit's going to have that unlock females. If you think you're out here, if you think you're only the people that are paying $5 a month are out here seeing your OnlyFans, you got it all the way twisted because we on Reddit. The smart ones are on Reddit. But besides the fact, that's always going to be out there. So we don't know how that's going to affect them as mothers when their kids see that. We haven't dealt with that yet. We haven't dealt with the kids that have to grow up with their moms being OnlyFans stars. And even if they stop doing it, it's always out there. I think it's interesting as a complexity into society. And like you said, I'm happy for them. I would, if I had a girl, I would I wouldn't mind you doing that. I would almost kind of encourage it because it really is a way to make money, but you do have to realize that there's probably going to be some stuff that itches on down the line. Like that money's most likely going to slow up at some point. And yeah, you got your money and the money slowed up. But what if you're going out there and trying to get other jobs and your boss is seeing you on OnlyFans? Oh, I know you. And what kind of, situationship does that kind of create that your boss who's interviewed you is seeing you naked and get pounded on OnlyFans and was paying $25 a month? It might still be paying $25 a month. That's just assuming that you cut it off. It might still be in there.
Pounding, Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
I just think it's interesting all the different avenues that this could take place, and we really don't know how this is going to affect how people move and how people might view them. But I honestly think if you're doing it and you've thought of all the consequences, then fuck what everybody thinks. Keep doing you, get your money. But I do want to caution girls before you just jump in there and grab the check. Really think about what could come down the line because there's probably going to be some consequences for some of y'all that didn't really think it through.
I mean, like, and I don't want to stay on this topic forever. I'm gonna be honest with you because, like, I know it's like it's one of those short and sweet type of things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we understand what it is because we're grown men. Like I mean, obviously we aren't like 55 and nearing retirement. Like we still got a long life to live, and God with God's will, of course. But um, you know, I I just want y'all to realize that like how important it is, like Mike said, to like weigh out those consequences because like any young girl that wants to go do that, hey, like he said, fuck it, fuck what everybody else thinks. If you weigh them out, do it. Like ain't nobody gonna be mad at you for making bread. Like if they're mad at you for making money, they're just jealous, bro. That's it. But like don't be mad when other people are looking at you a bit different once you tell them what you do. And I'm not saying you should be discouraged to tell anybody what you do because you should be proud of what you do. But do not be upset when somebody's like makes a comment because it's gonna happen. It ain't gonna be me. It ain't gonna be Mike. It ain't gonna be any of the people I know personally. But like there's some mean folks out there, and there's some real dark people that will use that to you for the rest of your life. You will be on your deathbed, and somebody could use that against you, bro. And I'm not joking because all the internet is doing now is evolving. Because with the birth and the well, not the birth, but the resurrection of Reddit, because it was down for a bit. It was down for a little bit. With the resurrection of an app like Reddit, there is a lot of trouble down the line for your children, for your husbands, or your wives, whatever you choose, men and women. Um, there's a lot of trouble down the road, and I don't want that for nobody if they haven't weighed the consequences and aren't ready to handle it. So, I don't know if you have any final thoughts on that, Mike, or anything on that at all. I know I did say I want to be short and sweet about that. I just wanted to address that because I know it's an upticking topic right now. Granted, in the middle of a recession, it's real easy to go. That's a real place to make some bread.
I'm good on that topic. I feel like we got out of that pretty clean. Let's probably move on before we get into an avenue of that conversation where we might say something we don't want up here. So
Yeah.
let's move on.
Yeah. So I mean, like honestly, like I mean, this is like a pop culture show. Like, right? We want to give you guys like also get you shouldn't use us for 100% of your news because this is a bunch of opinions, but we do spit facts about most of our stuff. I did kind of want to hop into a bit of this Gunna leaving YSL. We all heard about like the whole situation with YSL. Like we got Young Thug, one of our favorite rappers, in the pen, cooped up because he's the quote unquote leader of this YSL. It's not a record label, it's a gang, and Gunna wants to leave YSL. I want to go and just put this out there, bro. Gunna, like, and don't get me for this, Gunna, because I like your music. Please put out some more music. I really do. I just listened to Brody's, the little drop from this guy's. It's good. Uh, but like we know why you leave in YSL, my guy. You are disassociating yourself with this completely because you know it's a gang. And like I don't want it to be a gang for Young Thug's sake, but this is a whole racketeering case, bro. Like they got him pinned, and you got out. Like I ain't preaching to you or nothing like that, because you probably know a little bit better than me. You know the ins and outs a bit better than me, man. I ain't lived that life personally, but like I love YSL. I love that record label or whatever you want to call it. But like, look, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened with it, and like, I get it, but like, you just gonna abandon them, like, and then you got people out here saying that you snitched. This doesn't make it any better for you. Like, just to be honest. So like, that's my opening statement, sort of about that. Like, where's your head at on it, Mike? And like, why, like, what do you think his reasoning is? Like, where's his head at? Like, all that stuff.
Can we just have an honest conversation for a second? Let's talk about how some of these rappers aren't as hard as their records. And it's really as simple as that. These rappers they're entertainers first. Now, some of them some of them bout that. And I'm not
Yeah,
willing to test which one's about it and which one's not about it. That's not a
yeah,
game that I play. But I'm just here to say that there's definitely a bunch of them out there that are playing a role. And when shit hits the fan, they snap out of that character real quick. And I think Gunna was one of those ones that snapped out of character real quick. And he realized, hey man, this 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 boy Thug think he about to get out in a minute. This boy Thug gonna be gone for 20 plus years. And
one
he's
hundred
over here
percent.
like, I'm his ace man. I'm robbing the Batman. And if Batman's getting 25 years, Robin's about to get 10 to 15. And Gunna's over here like, nah, I just had one of the hottest albums out last year. I'm pushing P out here. I can't be pushing. I'm not trying to be in the cell pushing whatever kind of P they trying to make him push because I know he ain't with that. He's not with that. He's trying to be out here pushing his kind of P, not the jail cell type of P. So Gunna is, he's escaping, and he had to really sit in with himself. Hey, am I going to keep this facade up to get my street cred up? And then in 15 years, see if I can rekindle some kind of fame because my street cred is up. We saw how that worked for Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda did his time. His street cred was through the roof. My boy's career, nah. My boy's career through the motherfucking floor is gone. It's gone, boy. Hot nigga was cool while it lasted. You don't have another one in you. Move on. And Gunna's over here like, I got plenty still left in the tank. I'm not trying to end up like Bobby Shmurda. This is a game, and I'm not about that life. I was about making raps, getting a bunch of money, everyone thinking I'm cool, and I get a bunch of women. But now we all on this prison stuff, talking about gangs, talking about racketeering charges. He's like, nah, I'm a rapper. I'm not a thug. That's all. That's all. Little slime over there, young thug. You get his ass. He said, "Is this a gang?" Yes. He said, Was that gun in the car with you and Young Thug yours?" He said, "Nah." Well, brother, it won't them. It won't the seats gun. So you basically just said it was Young Thug's gun. So Gunna's out here snitching. He's saving his ass, and I'm not hating. I'm saving my ass. Don't do no street shit around me. I'm not street. I call 911. That's what I do. That's what I was taught. I'm not street, bro, and I'm not going to try and act street. So don't
Stop,
do that
drop, and
around me.
roll.
Stop, drop, and roll and call 911, brother. That's how I feel about it, and that's really all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I want to defend the man and say he didn't snitch, right? But like, this man just keeps doing shit that does not help his case. Like, bro, there are people out here that have allegiances to Thug, and they will fuck you up, bro. They will kill you. They will kill you. They have no. There's nothing. The second that Young Thug actually gets sentenced, the second, bro, there is going to be a bounty on his head like nobody's business, and he will still make his money. Like I'm serious. If you ever heard the song Brody's, hold up, I'm gonna give you a shout out and the boy he did a rap with, right? Dead serious. 1 second, give me a second. I'm gonna look it up, right? This junk's hard, bro. It was a little leak ago, like a month ago. It's like UFO 361 featuring Gunna called Brody's. And look, Young Thug, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna tell you honestly, bro. I listened to some of the lyrics in that song. You are not about it being with your Brodies because obviously you are ready to leave the gang for the fame. And like Mike said, I ain't hating, but don't you ain't as hard as you say you are. So you're gonna lose street cred. You're gonna lose listeners. But guess what, bro? I ain't gonna stop listening to you. I'm still gonna bang your shit out. I'm a look. You drop an album, but I'm gonna be the first one there. First one there. If that junk had to be on a hard copy, I'd be the first one out the door. I promise. But like, don't be trying to don't act street at this point. Like you lost it. It's done. It's done and dusted. You got out. Like don't try to put yourself back in by saying some other crazy lyrics with Thug. Cause Thug got Young Thug is in his name. Thug is in his name. If we want to be a thug, he wanna be a thug. Shout out Young Thug. He one of my favorite rappers. One of my girl's favorite rappers too. So I'm gonna keep it 100 on that. But like, dog, I just can't help you. I can't help you with this. Like, you gonna make your music, happy for you. Don't try to say you ain't snitch, bro. I'm telling you, don't try to say it because there is going to be people out there trying to kill you, and I'm talking real life kill. It ain't like, oh, I'm gonna mess up your house. No, they gonna mess up your house. They go any woman, man, anybody in the house that you're with, if they get to you, they, it's raps. It's raps, my guy. And I
His
love your music.
his name stands for, if you're gonna do some crime shit in front of me, I'm gonna snitch. And that's what his name stands for, bro. So and I can't hate on it, dog. But 6ix9ine out here, we talking about impact. Put 6ix9ine on that list. He out here impacting the game, bro. It's cool to snitch. It's cool to snitch now. Everyone's snitching. Ti talking about how he was out here snitching on his dead cousin or nephew or whatever it was. 6ix9ine out
On
here
the
changed
dead,
the
bro.
game, bro. Put him on the list. Impact undeniable. It's cool to snitch now.
Yeah, double double. That guy puts up a double a night. It's a snitch on my homie from that's dead and alive, and he doing 10H. So I mean, like Mike, I think at the end of the day, man, we are like music fans. Like we're not just rap fans. We're not just hip hop fans. We're not just like, bro. Look, I listen to Taylor Swift every once in a while. Don't get it twisted. I've been starting to listen to a little bit of EDM. I've been starting to change up my sound a bit. Like, I mean, I get all these different things coming out, but I want to let these guys know, these guys that are in the rap game, because a lot of these guys do come from different backgrounds and different backgrounds from you and I, right? Um, Not necessarily the greatest upbringing. But some of them come from straight upbringings, middle class, chilling, vibing, and they try to act like they grew up in the damn hood. You did not grow up in the hood. You grew up in the neighborhood. The neighborhood that was gated, that was safe. There was a bunch of white kids around you. There was a bunch of very nice people of color around you that were doing all right too. I don't want to hear the craziness about I'm hard because the second I hear somebody's hard, I'm gonna start disproving everybody now. They come out of the game, oh I'm hard. Nah, I'm gonna start doing Twitter fingers will start itching. So that's my piece on that. Like I look once again, Gunna, when you do hear this, because like I don't know why I've said if you hear this, when you do listen to this one day, you gonna respect what we said. Promise. So I mean, that's kind of my piece on that. 100%. Like, whew, he got
Hey,
me hot on that.
I'm good on that. You good on it. So
Yeah, I'm good on it.
if that got you hot, bro, then it's just gonna warm you up because we're gonna get into a pretty good one right here. So we Andrew Tate. This is the best way to transition to it. Let me just Andrew Tate. We're getting in here. We're gonna talk about the updates. There's some WhatsApp messages that came out. People don't know. Did he do it? Did he not? Is Andrew Tate an evil guy? Is he? We really, it's the first time we're impacting on the show, so we really just got to start from ground zero and just kind of go in there and just, you know, how are you feeling? What's your initial thoughts, initial statements on any Andrew Tate updates or Andrew Tate in general?
All right, let me just put this out here first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Andrew Tate is a very powerful man in his own right. Let's just call a spade, basically, right? The guy he has taken over social media without having a social media. Period. If you don't talk about influence, that's influence, bro. You got other people talking about you. Secondly, talk about the messages that we got from these ladies that were scamming him and his brother Tristan. Look, man, I don't agree with anybody getting accused of something they didn't do. I don't believe in that. I do believe in justice. I do. And obviously we could start talking about a bunch of stuff when it comes to justice over the past 5 years, just in general in terms of justice. But like I went through and I read some messages that they leaked of the WhatsApp messages. It's crazy, man. It's crazy that people can hate someone so much, and when like in reality, yeah, some of the stuff he says is sometimes a bit hateful. I'm not gonna deny it, but some of the stuff he says, if you actually listen to it, it ain't that bad. It's not like something that's like, oh, I never heard that before. Like he just kind of called it how it is. He's the up. He's the more almost the same level as Donald Trump when he was coming up as in his presidency. That type of like ick or that type of itch. Where I'm sorry, let me sit up. So when Donald Trump was coming through his presidency, right? Like in his presidency and before, he was saying some wild shit, bro. Just wild shit. But some of the stuff he said, if you actually went and did research on it, I'm like, oh, okay, like he's kind of right. Like he's not crazy completely. I don't agree with most of the stuff he says, but that was right. For these women to go out here and just accuse this man of something that obviously him and his brother didn't do, just based on these messages, just factual at this point. Like you put a grown man who has done nothing wrong by the law in prison wrongfully accused, and you put him in a Romanian prison at that. Like this ain't America, bro. This ain't America. Like that's a whole nother world out there in the East. They are dogs, and he's a tough guy from what I know. But like all I'm saying is like I feel I shouldn't say I feel for the man, but I do feel for the man because if it was me and I was wrongfully accused of especially like rape or sex trafficking or those just awful crimes, right? Like it diminishes your image, and his image is the only thing that he makes money off of. Just to be honest, I mean, he says, "Oh, I got these businesses." You make your money off your images. Without his images, he is not who he is today. Factual. And so, I want to make it very clear. Like I said, I do not agree with everything he says. I don't agree with most of the stuff he says, but there's some things he says that I do agree with, and I think most people would. And there's definitely some things that are hateful and I do not agree with. But for someone to accuse you of something you did not do, period, flat out, and have proof that they were plotting, outright just disrespectful. It's honestly disgusting. It's just disgusting that people would go to those lengths to do that. But when you mess with those type of people, I guess that's what you got to do.
Yeah, so you know, I'm not super in depth or know too much about what's going on with the trial per se. So I don't want to say that I think that he's innocent or guilty. I don't know. I do know that these messages were shocking. Um, and the way that the messages were portrayed, if these were real messages, if all this stuff comes out real, then it was someone that got scammed and is they're trying to cancel him. And it's a big thing for cancel culture. It's happening. For me personally, I think Andrew Tate is someone that has 5%. The base of what he's saying, the backbone, there's a whole lot of merit to it, but he dresses it up in such an ugly way that it touches people in just an unpleasant manner. And you know, with the female crowd, he's not very much liked. With the male crowd, he's championed, and they want to say he's toxic masculinity, but males want to say that hey, he's the right level of masculinity, and he's what's needed in a dwindling space in society. So, as far as Andrew Tate goes, and as far as getting into that, I really just don't have too. I don't want to be too opinionated on his trial because I really just don't know what's going on there, and I want to, if he did do some messed up stuff, I want to make sure I reserve the space to, let those people that did go through that, if he were to have done some messed up stuff, the space to heal and not need my voice to shoot them down. So I'm not going to do that. But as far as Andrew Tate and what he comes to society, I think he's needed. I think there are people out there that champion him. He's obviously needed. There's a space that was not being hit. He recognized it and he hit it hard. No pun intended, in a masculine front. But I definitely think he was needed, and I think that people out there don't need to push him off so much because if you really listen to what he says, like I said, the backbone of what he's saying, there is a lot of merit. There's a lot of truth to it. He's very hyperbolic, but he's also in the entertainment space, and people need to realize, like us, we're in the entertainment space. So although our opinions are our real opinions, and we actually think these things, we express it in a hyperbolic, more animated fashion to get our point across so it really sticks too. And I don't know if that's what he did, if that's what he does, but that's what I imagine he's doing. He's animated, he has a character, he's playing that role, he's playing it well, and it's resonating with a lot of people, but it's also pissing a lot of people off. But I do think that, the content at least not was needed and is still needed in that space.
Yeah, I mean, and let's just kind of roll into the point at the same, because we, like, once again, we've talked before, to some degree about the masculinity in that space, and without going too in depth on it, we understand like how the world is changing for the better, for women, and then and for just people in general, like definitely a little bit more acceptance, definitely a little bit more just understanding of one another, which I appreciate. Being a different race, like a different, not different race, but being a different color than somebody else. It's just having a little bit more acceptance there. So without going too deep and getting all of my feels and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like I just flat out just don't agree with wrongly accusing someone. That's just what it is. I don't believe in the fact that you can use somebody like they did and then make a scene out of it because you want to, like he said, cancel him. But the thing is, if they're trying to cancel him, the man's been canceled. The guy lost all his social media accounts. The guy's been canceled. Other people post his content over and over again, and it keeps getting out there. I can't go a day without seeing a video of Andrew Tate. Genuinely, I can't. Like that is how. Like if I'm on my phone for more than an hour, I guarantee you I see a one video of Andrew Tate, something relating to it. Um, so I mean, if for the people out there that don't enjoy him at all whatsoever, women or men, I implore you to do this because I've always said this to my family, things like that. Like if you're passionate about something, you need to make it known and have like actual facts to back it too. Like make a point. If you're not trying to cancel somebody, you shouldn't try to cancel anybody, but put yourself out there and like make a point why you don't agree with this and make back it with some facts because people respect facts. They do. Opinions not so much because everybody said respect my opinion. Like nobody respected his opinion. Not many people respected his opinion, but enough people did to obviously repost him and obviously make a few women mad enough that they were going to do this. So I mean that's all I got to say about it. Like I said, I don't want to jump down the rabbit hole. I'm not big into the trial. Like I mean, I do have an idea of what's been going on to a degree, but I understand that it's a bit in discovery and moving through that type of stuff. So like we'll see, but I mean, the guy shouldn't be in prison in freaking Romania for something they didn't do. Like I just, oh my god, I don't even want to. I wouldn't even want to be rich and famous if that was the case.
Yeah. Safe to say that Andrew Tate is loved by some, hated by probably more, and but he's still needed in the space. He's an entertainer, businessman, previous boxer. So, but let's talk about someone that is boxing today and took his first L over the weekend. We got Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. The moment many people have been waiting for was Jake Paul to take his first L. He's surprised some of us by taking dubs against athletes, UFC fighters, but he finally fights his first boxer and he catches his first L. My question to you, Jake, or not Jake, Sterling, snap, Sterling, is it over for Jake? Is the magic gone because he took his L, or is he going to bounce back? Is this not the last that we've seen of Jake Paul?
No, this celebrity boxing thing is a absolute trend. Is once again another way for guys or gals to make money. And these guys, like somebody like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, these guys that were had this fame before, like they have crazy fame before this. Like this guy was on freaking Disney. Like how are we gonna act like we? This guy was one of the biggest YouTube stars at one time. Like he's revitalizing a career that was dying, but still has plenty of money to roll around in. Like that's a blessing for him. Like he could lose. Like he's. Let's just be honest. Like Tommy Fury can fight, and so when you face somebody that can fight, you lose when you can't fight. There are people that say that Jake Paul is a pretty solid boxer, like 100%. And just from looking at some videos, it's the way he moves. I definitely could see, like, I saw some highlights of his fight. I could see he's more comfortable than when he was first started doing this, like, competitively. But like, think about the bag this guy is getting. How are you gonna leave a bag like that on the table when you're literally boxing and losing and you're still making millions of dollars.
30 million after an
I mean, bro, I'll take as many L's as you want if I make it
L.
30 million. And I'm a really competitive guy. For me to say I'm taking an L, it's gonna take a lot, and 30 million is plenty for me. Like, I mean, bro, he made that shit in a night. In a night. Literally, I sit here, I might never see 30 million. Maybe I will. Who knows? This guy went out there, boxed and lost. Boxed a real boxer. Boxed somebody that could actually fight and got smoked. Just it was a split decision from what I hear. And I don't know how it was a split decision because some of the highlights I was seeing shouldn't have been a split decision, but I see why. But also, you got to think about this: is that like there was all this fights with KSI. I don't know if anybody's familiar with KSI. These celebrities understand how to make money. The way that social media is now, it's too easy to make money. If you just do something outlandish, it's too easy. Why not continue doing it? He can't keep losing forever, that's for sure. Like if he keeps losing, people are just gonna stop watching. Period. Because it's in the hope that he's gonna lose, not the hope that we don't want him to win because nobody really likes him, from what I know. But it's like if he's winning, like we at least hope that he loses instead of winning, right? Like I want to get your thoughts on it. Like is his do you think it's over for him? Do you think he's going to step away from this now that he's made a hell of a bag from doing about I don't know how many fights he's had now and making stupid bread off of them?
Look, I kind of agree with you. I kind of disagree. I don't think he's gonna walk away. There's too much money in it. Um, he's gonna be back. And he's probably gonna be back decently soon. But where I kind of disagree, and I understand it's a trend, and I do think the trend is going to grow. But will the trend continue to grow for Jake Paul? He's
Mm,
got to win the next fight, in my opinion. If he loses the next fight, the appeal is gone. See, we were all watching to see him lose. We saw that, and it felt good. He's gonna come back, and there's gonna be a redemption story. If he wins, then it's like, okay, he bounced back. This is big. This is still going on. Let's keep watching Jake as he progresses as a boxer. If he loses again, then it's like, okay, show's over. We had the fun. It's only interesting because he was winning and he's, actually being perceived as a decent boxer. And because of that, we're like, okay, well, let's put him up against somebody a little bit better. See if he wins that. He won again. Let's put him up against somebody a little bit better. But if he just keeps losing now, then we're just going to get to a point where we finally come to our realization he's not a real boxer. You got to be doing this kind of stuff your whole life growing up to really fight with the real cats. And the draw's over. The draw's over. You've lost twice. We're not interested anymore. We don't care to see you lose. We've seen it enough. We don't care to see you win. We don't care. We know you're not that great. So we're gonna move on to a new celebrity, and we're gonna hype them up until they go through the same inevitable fall. So I feel like Jake Paul, really rest up, really work on your technique, because let me tell you something, buddy. If you don't win the next one, that next bag ain't gonna be 30 million, brother. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna keep being 30 million if you keep taking L's. And I'm one of the people that I kind of wanted to see him get knocked out. I kind of wanted it to be Nate Robinson, but he made us look like shit out here. He was not caping for the blacks. I don't know what he was doing. He had booty up in the air. He had his whole booty up in the air, not caping for the blacks. But it's okay. We had a white on white crime as Tommy Fury put a whooping on Jake Paul. It's okay. We had to go to our white brethren to put a whooping on Jake Paul. But he's got to win the next one, and that's kind of where I sit at. I just don't see that he can lose the next one and continue to progress on further and still bring in the same crowd he's bringing in today.
yeah, 100%. I mean, this guy was on ESPN Plus, bro. Like I could have literally went and watched him like the full fight. It was on ESPN Plus pay per view. Like that is like you are clouded the hell up if you're on ESPN Plus pay per view, bro. Like they put John Bones Jones on this shit. They put these biggest UFC fighters, the biggest boxers in the world on this shit, and you're telling me, yeah, like cut the bat for 30 million, I just got a loss. Like, nah, I don't know if you heard about this, Mike, but like there was a leaked script, quote unquote, for the fight, and I wanted to kind of roll and piggyback on that, like piggyback off of what you were saying. So there's been this whole thing over the past, like, and I know you guys have probably seen it. If you're even on the internet, if you don't live under a rock, you've probably seen it, right? They're talking about the NFL scripted, especially the NFL, which
Yep.
honestly, I'm starting to bleed into that a bit. I ain't gonna lie to you, because it is crazy what be going on. I'm like, oh my god, and it keeps your excitement up. But bro, like this script that someone supposedly found at the venue, um, looked real. I mean, I just repeated myself little extra, but like, I mean, I was like, oh, maybe this is a little played out. This ain't just like WWE now. Cause think about it. Like we were talking about entertainers earlier, like Andrew Tate's an entertainer. I mean, Jake Paul came from being an entertainer at flat out. That's how he's made his money. Period. Boxers are entertainers by default because they're playing sport to entertain people, which brings in money to corporations and the boxers and their teams. But why not put a script for it? Because it'd make it a lot easier. I mean, ask that question. Like everybody, all you guys that are listening to this and hearing it back, like take a second, like understand, like that might be a possibility. I'm not saying it was. Shoot, I don't know. I mean, people talk about the Illuminati, this extra stuff. I mean, there's a lot of higher powers out there. They got a lot of things to say, and they got a lot of influence on the things we do. I'm not talking conspiracies. Let's not go down that route because I don't want to get into that bag, right? We can have a whole nother day about that.
And we will one day. We will.
Yes, but I mean, for them to find like talking about a script, because especially after all the stuff that's been going on, I mean, like we usually say it jokingly, but like it would make sense, right? Like this man would lose, and the next fight he probably gets a knockout against somebody that's probably like actually not better than Tommy Fury necessarily, but like up to caliber of Tommy Fury, and it's like, oh my gosh, and came back, and guess what? His next fight's gonna be crazy after
Crazy.
that one, and it's just keep going over and over again, because that's just how I feel about it, and it would be wild. I want to get your thoughts on the script thing, just in general, that whole generalization around every sport, not just the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight, but just in general, and like how you feel about that and how the world and sports are changing a bit.
Yeah. As far as the script goes, Kodak put it in a song when we were in college. He said that the NFL was scripted. And, I do think that there are favorable endings that these leagues would prefer to see. And there's probably measurements in place to help egg along those results. Do I think that the game is scripted? I think it would just be way too complicated, way too many variables in the NFL to script out a game. I think that so much would have to go right and wrong, or so much would have to go right for you to be able to script the game. But there's things you can do to help egg it on, like, hey, refs, don't call as many holdings, or maybe a couple bad calls in crucial moments. Things like that can really push a final result. But I think for the most part, like all the excitement, the back and forth, none of that's really scripted. That's all just part of the game. Maybe they help out with who wins at the little bit at the end. But even that's really hard to try and manage without people really being up in arms. And I guess they are up in arms. But I also still want to double down that I want to, because I thought about something. I want to double down that I think Jake Paul after his next fight is going to be donezo. Because what I remembered is that he signed a UFC and boxing contract. So one of these fights, he's going to be in the octagon. And when bro gets in the octagon, if he faces somebody who's actually in the UFC, oh, it's a wrap. It's gonna be meme city for Jake Paul, and Twitter's gonna be quick with it. Twitter's gonna be quick with it. They're gonna have all the pictures. It's gonna be meme city because Jake Paul is gonna have his booty up in the air when somebody knocks him out in UFC, and that will be the wrap for it. Nobody's gonna want to see Jake Paul fight nobody Nah, sit your tail down, boy. We saw you in that octagon, dog. Sit your little tail down. Ain't nobody trying to see you fight.
Yeah, and keep on rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm gonna double down that if he don't win the
he is
next
a
one,
businessman.
it's gonna be bad. Oh,
Yeah,
tremendous
and
businessman, tremendous marketer. I will say that.
nah, he is a genius marketer. I am not a fan of him, but guess what? Sometimes the haters are the best fans you can have because at the end of the day, they still gonna give you money and they still gonna give you clout without realizing it. And that's how it's gotta be. I mean, like I'm sure one day we're gonna have some haters, and I'm sure there's gonna be a day where we probably got haters in our everyday lives, bro. Like
Facts.
at the end of the day, it gives you the clout you need, and like I agree. I mean, the guy he knows what he's doing.
If
He
you
knows
hating,
what he's.
if you hating, comment down below what you hate the most about us. We want to know. Just make sure you
Yeah,
comment.
yeah. Make sure you comment. I want to know because look, man, I thrive off of it. So you could say
Run it
whatever
up.
you could say whatever you want to say, but don't get crazy now. Don't start getting like wow. You know what I'm saying? Like let's have some TOS out here.
Yeah, he's gonna
Um,
fix the gap soon too. So if you try to use that, that ain't gonna work for you. Don't try
yeah,
to use that.
that's that's fine. Hey, look, and come at it, man. I had it my whole life. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But yeah, man. I think you hit the nail on the head on all that, and kind of rolled it pretty well. But I mean, I don't know about you, Mike, but like, I mean, kind of got through a bit tonight, and like, definitely enjoyed it. It's definitely funny. I think the Billboard Top 10 that's gonna be a whole yeah, that's gonna be great.
I'm good. Yeah.
But I'm fine on that. But yeah, man. I don't know if you, but if anybody, if you got to the end of the video, I hopefully compartmentalize it. I don't know how we're gonna break it down, but you get to the end of the video. I appreciate you. We all do. We appreciate your support. Once again, we weren't able to stream it tonight, but if you are on Twitch, it's twitch.tv after dark podcast. Check us out 8:30s on Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays, but we'll definitely make that evident once again, and follow the YouTube. That's gonna be after dark. Not follow, but subscribe, subscribe, and comment for sure. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know how you feel. I don't care if you write a whole essay, man. I'll read it. We all will, and we'll definitely shout you out and give you a bit of your flowers while we got them here too. Just letting us know, even if it's hate, it's still support for us,
Yes,
man, and
sir.
and
And
give and
the
giving us a
YouTube
listen.
videos will be out Wednesdays and Fridays. Well, sometimes on Fridays at 8 p.m. Audio version as well. So check that out. Thanks for tuning in. This is After Dark episode 2. We are the podcast where we debate opinions that are none of our business. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.